We're here with Chief of Police Tom Mulhearn from Westmont Police Department, and we want to talk a little bit about the extreme weather incident that recently occurred, in which there was this heavy rainfall that resulted in tremendous flooding in the area.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about that?
Right. Last week, starting Wednesday afternoon and continuing until late morning on Thursday the following day, there was heavy rain experienced not only by us, but through several counties in the state. I think the last document I saw showed that 40 counties had declared disasters or were affected by this storm. At the police fire facility, 500 North Cass, we have a weather monitoring device. And at that device, it showed that a total of over 6 inches of rain had fallen from Wednesday afternoon until Thursday. And that's a large amount of rain. That's, again, almost the whole month for April rain amount that you had in just less than 12 hours or less than 24-hour time period. The result of the heavy rain caused flooding, I wouldn't say village-wide, but through most of the village. Rush hour that morning was very, very hard to navigate, not only in Westmont, but throughout DuPage County and the Chicagoland area. To get from the south part of town, from 63rd and Fairview, to get to the police station took 45 minutes by going different routes. Cass Avenue was underwater in some areas just near Ogden Avenue, and Ogden Avenue was underwater as well. There was severe flooding experienced by our residents and businesses in town, and we're still dealing with the cleaning aftermath of that and also waiting for several declarations to be made. The Village of Westmont declared a state of emergency on Thursday morning, and then the county has declared a declaration of disaster. And then we're now waiting to hear, we're working closely with our counterparts with the DuPage County Office of Emergency Management, who's working with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. And we're going to have an on-site, we're not going to visit, but FEMA will be out next week and hopefully view the damaged areas throughout the county, not just Westmont, but throughout the county. The sites haven't been selected yet. We don't know if we're going to get a site visit. But this will, their on-site visit and inspection will hopefully lead to a presidential declaration.
And of course that would trigger relief aid for this area. Now of course that's to be determined, but that's something that occurs on the state level and then the federal level, and the Village of Westmont has done its job by supplying a tremendous amount of data to the county, which then goes up the ladder in terms of saying what was the extent of damage to the homeowners.
We had a turn-on estimate in, and we asked our residents to provide a damage assessment. And it's not a damage claim. It's not a claim for damages or for monetary reasons. It's to help the county and the federal government assess the damage, how bad was Westmont hit. And so we had a deadline as of yesterday to meet this information in the county. However, we are still interested in hearing from our residents and still would like to continue to gather information, which hopefully we can further on into the federal government. And if our residents could, and it could take a few minutes of their time, if they had water damage, we asked them to go to the village website, www.westmont.il.gov, and on there's it's very clear on the home page for flood information. They can click on that and take a survey. The survey is, I think, about 6 minutes. I'm sorry, 6 questions. I did it myself in under 5 minutes. It's very basic, not too involved, but we want to gather as much information as we can and provide that should we be asked for it later.
I'd like to talk for a moment about the response to the entire incident, and of course police, fire, EMA, village staff as a whole obviously worked round the clock to address emergency type concerns that came out of the flooding issue, but then continuing into the next week when we found out that we needed to collect this data in a very short time frame, we mobilized a great deal of community volunteers who ended up going out and walking door to door to collect that information, and I've heard that Westmont's data collection is rivaled by no one, that we exceeded every community around us.
We learned that we had, I believe, submitted over 350 responses, which we're very proud of getting. You're correct. What we did is to get a good sample or good information, we reached out to our volunteers, and I'm very, very pleased, and I can't thank our volunteers enough for giving of their time. We had over 7,000 flyers that we had to fold, and it was going to rain that night, so we had to put them in plastic bags to protect them. We had, on Monday night, 20 volunteers in a room folding and stuffing these flyers. And then the next morning we had village staff along with other additional volunteers going door to door to mailboxes and on doors that didn't have mailboxes, putting the flyers so our residents could get the information. We were under a very tight time frame. We had to have the information into DuPage County by noon on Wednesday, and we learned about this deadline on Monday morning at around 10 o'clock. So Monday we mobilized our plan. Tuesday we implemented it and gave our residents an opportunity to have the information. And that's the survey that I talked about. And we're still collecting information. So if anyone would like to participate in the survey, we welcome their participation.
Another thing that I would just like to reiterate was the extent of the storm. I believe you mentioned more than 40 counties declared a state of emergency. Is that what it is?
Disaster, from my understanding, is they could have declared a state of emergency. My information I've read is that they've declared it a state of disaster or declared their counties in a disaster area.
But the scope of the storm was huge. Much of northeast Illinois.
You can look to our neighbors. You look at Lyle. Lyle requested mutual aid police assistance later on in the evening. They were rescuing people from boats and talking to the Westmont Fire Department. Lyle had a fire. They had to put the fire hoses on a boat and get the hoses via boat to the fire. They were trying to they were trucking people out of the residents, out of the area by large Army trucks. I heard National Guard. Our officer, and I saw it on TV, Route 53, a roadway, it was a river. It wasn't, you could not even begin to see the pavement, it was a river. They've been hard hit throughout the county. There's flooding issues. I would imagine every community in the county had some type of flooding issues.
And of course, in any type of an emergency situation, communication is vital. And I know the village worked promptly to get the information out to the residents, and it was put out on our website and press releases and various alerts, community alerts, and something that we should definitely mention. If people are interested in receiving those community alerts, they can go to our website, and to the left there is a button that says Notify Me. And if you click on that, you can sign up for all of our community alerts, not only for emergencies, which of course is very important, but also just community events and happenings, village meetings, things of that nature. But for communication to work, the village can put that message out, but that's only half of the response that's needed. You need the sender to also go out and seek that information.
Right. One very good point, thank you for bringing it up, is one way that we've been using police and fire in the village overall. It's called Nixle, N-I-X-L-E, and it's a way that you can receive text alerts and email alerts from the police or from the village. We've had incidences where we've had accidents where there's been travel congestion on the roadways. We'll send out a Nixle alert advising you, advise Cass and Ogden for a traffic accident. Cass Avenue may be closed for whatever reason. We'll send out a Nixle alert. We send out community notifications. We try to send out if there's a power outage or if we know that something's going to pre-plan. It's also used for in case of an emergency. We had to close down Burlington and Cass for an incident for several hours. And we put that out to let everybody know, to kind of pre-warn them, stay away from the area. We ask that if you go to nixle.com, you can sign up, but as also I believe there's a website, there's a link on the website. Right. Those Nixles are also published, as you said, to other social media outlets as well. So we highly recommend that everyone, please, if you're a resident of Westmont, even if you're not a resident of Westmont, want to get our alerts, Nixle is the system that we're using, and we ask that you sign and register for that.
All right, thanks so much. No problem.